I am Spegtacular, the Silver Stack. I'm here with Evan Kale, the Pond Man. Pond Man, what's going on?
Thank you so much for having me. Really glad to be here. Really excited to chat with you.
I want to talk to you today about you have a pawn shop, you have a YouTube channel, and just kind of you and what you're all about. So if you could tell my audience a little bit about what you're doing and why you're the Pawn Man.
Absolutely. So we'll start with a correction, and this does piss some people off. Other people think it's very funny. I don't actually do pawn. I don't have a pawn license. I know, it's crazy. What happened was, and I guess I'll give a quick genesis because I'm sure those of you who do follow me, you've heard this origin story of Pawn Man. I was trying to be a writer in my 20s. It was a hill that I died on. I self-published a couple books. I wrote a bunch of screenplays. It was all of my 20s in a meat grinder. And I was working in restaurants to supplement income, and I was spending all my spare time writing. And just like, I turned 30 and the whole starving artist thing was losing its cute factor. This was 3 years ago, like right before the pandemic. And I got a tip from my dad that an old person around town, he's got this gold and silver shop that he's been around forever, was desperate for a young person. So, again, starving artist thing, not so cute. It's not very fun to be poor when you're 30 and all your friends are getting married and having houses and you like don't have a career. And just like working in a restaurant's tough, and like just getting older, it's like harder to keep doing it. So I called him up on a whim and I begged him for a job, and he hired me. It was summer of 2019. He hired me part-time, and I digitized his store because it was not on the internet at all. The guy was like a dinosaur, and like immediately on eBay, the store exploded. I was doing tons of revenue for him because he had it was like being a time capsule in his store. He had so much stuff that he wasn't selling. So he hires me full time, and a couple things changed right after he hired me. I went to Las Vegas that summer when I turned 30, and I went to the Pawn Star guy's store, and that was life-changing. Just seeing the amount of business they're doing and the fact they're making money, not from gold, not from silver, not from scrap, none of that, not from coins. They're making money on merchandise. They made themselves famous. They made their place a tourist attraction. That's smart, I thought. So I went back to Minnesota, and now I'm working full time, and I'm just devouring everything I can about this business, reading books, asking questions. I'm shadowing the old man, and I'm thinking social media, something with social media. So then the pandemic hit. Right before the pandemic, though, I went out to New York City, and I met Stack in NYC, Tommy Haynes, and I messaged him before I went out. I said, "Can I buy you a drink?" Because he seemed like one of the authority figures in the community back then. This was like 3 years ago, like I said. And he's like, "I'll do you one better. Come to my apartment." Really? Yeah. He invites me. My God, what a gent. I actually owe all my success to this day and him and watching him, because he invited me into his apartment. He showed me his operation. He showed me the ropes, how it's done with social media. And it's like, okay, this is what we're doing. So about a year later, a little bit less after the pandemic had hit, I'm thinking of new ways to pivot, because like that business I was at almost got wiped out from COVID. If we didn't have eBay, for sure would have been wiped out. And I started making YouTube videos, and people started calling me Pawn Man. And I thought, well, that's catchy. So the business that I was at, it was a buy sell. I think at one point the guy had a pawn license, but the city I'm in right now does not allow pawn shops, period. So in this city I couldn't do it. But I thought, Pawn Man, that is so catchy. And so I started calling myself Pawn Man. And this is now 2.5 years ago. I've just run with it full speed. But people are pretty surprised on the internet to know that I don't actually do pawn.
That's very interesting. Well, it seems like you do, based on your YouTube videos that I've watched and what you're talking about. It seems like a pawn shop.
Mm-hmm. And indeed, I buy everything except firearms. I don't want to get an FFA. It's monkey business. Guns are expensive. When you're a pawn shop, you got to buy whatever's put in front of you. You really do. And there's a lot of stuff I turn away, and I'm glad to turn it away. It's like, fuck, I'll sit on that forever. I don't want to spend $300, $400, $500 on these power tools or this broken TV or whatever. So no, but I slant it like I do, but I don't. It's a buy, sell only. Now, there are still rules to follow. It's not like I can just do whatever I want, but there's way less regulation than having a pawn license.
That's interesting. Really, you were influenced by Pawn Stars and Stacking.NYC, and that's how you decided this is what I want to do.
Well, I've always been wanting to do something with social media. So another thing I left out, when the pandemic hit, I got TikTok famous, but not for this. I am a comedian as well. I make very, very, very dark jokes. And so I got on TikTok in November of 2019. I remember the night I was downloading it, I was in my kitchen. And as I was downloading it, I said out loud to myself, this is going to change my life. I know it is. I don't know how, but I know this app is going to change my life. And sure enough, it did. So I got, within 2 months, I had 100,000 followers on TikTok from my jokes. And then I kind of started making little bits of content about the industry, but it was schizophrenic because I would sprinkle, you know, a wholesome fact about gold or silver coins between the aristocrats joke and a 9/11 joke. So it's like, okay, well, I got to make my own personality. And like I said, I started making YouTube videos as well. And that was where I immediately knew I had something.
Yeah, you're definitely a social media guy. I love your TikTok videos where it's like Pawn Man, and you got the things in your face and stuff. It's very catchy.
It's a formula. It is a formula.
Yeah, yeah. Now, also, you kind of got a little fame from almost being like a Crime Stopper, right? Is that right?
Well, yes, and yeah, well, yes is the answer. My local police department really does not like me because of that. Really does not like me. So what happened, for those of you guys that don't know, all of us dealers here in Minnesota, where I'm located, we talk to each other. We have Facebook groups, we have messaging, you know, group chats. If someone's toes get stepped on, we bark and we let everyone else know about it. And so there was this guy going around who was committing these brazen robberies, very violent. And he was either quick and he'd just grab something and it would disappear, or he'd pull a gun, or he'd punch you, or he'd smash glass. And this is a big fucking guy too. This guy was like 6'5", 400 pounds. And he'd move like I saw security footage, he moves like a ballerina. So I'm sitting here and I'm hearing about, he hit this store, he hit this store, he hit this store. And it was like this crazy crime spree. And I'm thinking, why the hell is nobody catching this guy? Like, this is a brazen criminal who's stealing a lot of money. Like, by my estimation, over 50 grand. So I'm calling around trying to get him found. You know, I'm putting his stuff on social media. I'm following up on tips. And all the law enforcement that I'm speaking, they don't care at all. They basically hang up on me. And it's like, this guy is active and dangerous. It's only a matter of time, I think, before he kills someone or something really bad happens. You guys got to act on this. On top of that, how many people in the pool of Minnesota are 6'5", 400 pounds and black? Can't imagine it's that many. It's like, how do you guys not just like comb through and well, yeah. So, you know, I'm playing armchair detective here, but my videos got really big. A TikToker named Tizzy and picked up my videos, and then the local news wanted to talk to me. Now, I had bad intel. I will admit, I did not have the right name of the individual. Somebody supplied me with a name, and I thought it was that person. Turned out not to be that person. Now, I never broadcast their name. I did say I have a name, but nobody even wanted to talk to me. I got so desperate, I called the FBI, because it's like, you guys, someone's going to get hurt here. He's going to cross state. You know what I said to the FBI is he's going to cross state lines. So sure enough, about 3 weeks after I called the FBI, he did cross state lines. There was this brazen heist in Wisconsin. Dumbass tried to grab a gold tube with, you know, 20 ounces of gold in it. And he tried to run out, but they had an armed security guard, and the guard chased him. And this idiot tried to run him over with his car. And the guard shot like 3 times. He hit the engine block. Guy broke down in the next town over. They nabbed him, and now he's hit with. Well, it turns out there's quite a laundry list to this guy. He was working off paying back prior restitution for a felony. I think he had like $58,000 restitution he was paying back when he was arrested. They raided his house in Minnesota. They found lots of guns. He'd been defacing coins. I do think he grabbed a gold coin from me, but I'm not able to prove it because I don't have the security foot. Like, I just was dumb. And one day I noticed, oh shit, my half-ounce George Bush is gone. He was defacing all the coins and melting them down. But they did nab him, and well, somebody had listened to me and tried a little harder. They could have found him. I think what happened was he was an informant. I think the cops are covering their own asses on that one. I'm just pulling that out of my ass. I don't know, but it seems really weird that you'd have somebody this violent, this brazen, just running around. Nobody cares.
To your knowledge, did he have a history at all prior to all this?
Like I said, he had a prior felony. He was paying back restitution. I don't know what for, but he got one of my followers. I didn't look at it at this point. It's like, I'm really busy. One of my followers did some digging on him though, and sent me his rap sheet. And it's like a freaking novel.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, at least he's off the streets now, and it was a good learning lesson about keeping your eyes on people and just being careful. I up my security quite a bit too, because he, for about 2 months, I was borderline like having nightmares about dealing with him.
I'll mention this right here. You talked about how you and other shops in the area, you share intel. That's a common thing. You think that this shop right here, there's a coin shop here, there's a pawn shop, there's a coin shop, that they're all like kind of enemies. They're working against each other, but they also, maybe they don't want, all the business to go to one or the other, but they do work together to get rid of some of these scumbags there. And that's very common practice.
Yeah, like I said, it is a tight-knit community here. I am the only person in Minnesota, to my knowledge, who is doing what I do with social media. And when I first went off on my own, there was a lot of, shall we say, competition and some stepping on toes. Some of the other dealers were, kind of trying to do this. One person in particular, one dealer who's very close to me geographically, was basically paying Google to confuse directions, where if you typed in my store, it would bring you to his store. I know this because I have a friend that does Google like AdWords for like a major company. He has access to like a database. He went in and was like, "Hey, did you know that?" I won't use their name. So and so is paying Google to confuse people. What? But no, I'm working with the guy now. I do business with the guy now. Basically, everybody has warmed up to me and is borderline afraid of me because of, fucking, I can get on the news if I want. You don't want that.
You're a social media sensation.
Say, can I swear?
Yeah, you've already been swearing.
Well, okay, I didn't ask beforehand. I just started going. Oh, shoot.
No, go ahead.
I did a PG interview 2 weeks ago, and I started swearing, and like the look on her face. Oh yeah, that's right. She said I can't swear.
No, just on YouTube, I'll click a little button that says that there's bad words in here, and then YouTube should go ahead and thwart all the little kids who watch this, right?
Ooh, shit cunt cocksucker. Love it.
Jeez.
Oh, you might have to edit that one out.
Yeah, that might be an edit. Anyways, okay, so with your pawn business, it's not really a pawn business. People will come into the shop with a big box of like just junk, right? And say, "Hey, I got all this stuff. Set it on your table." What do you do there? You got your phone ready? You going to eBay, sold listings? How you valuing just a big pile of junk out of one of these boxes?
Well, what I do, so it kind of depends on you. I read the room. It's a thing that you do, and you think, are they expecting big money or not? And what happens with that kind of stuff is oftentimes amongst the pile of crap, there's a few items that are treasures, but you can just kind of make a big pile and say, I'll give you 50 for that pile, 50 for that pile. And if they want you to break it down, then you make them do the work and say, well, explain to me why this is valuable, because I see junk here. And then, because I don't always know too. A lot of times I'll lowball people on stuff. I'll just like, I got a character called the con artist. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's this guy, he comes in here, he's got a walker, he claims to be a charity case, and in his head somehow he's invented it that his woes are my problem, and he sells me crap. And when I say crap, I mean capital C, crap. But occasionally he's got an item that he doesn't know what he has and I don't know what he has, and I'll pay him a couple bucks and I'll get, $50 on it, something like that. So that's the kind of thing that happens. It's also my time, is very valuable. I'm very, very, very busy, especially because I'm running a weird hybrid business where it is totally dependent upon social media and social media currency and success. And yet I'm also running a traditional storefront where I have to do the accounting. I got to do customer service. So I'm being pulled 3 different ways at once, and it's tough. So when somebody's coming in here and I can see that they're going to bog down 2 hours of my time, I want to make that as quick as I can. But, if they want me to do the work and go through it, then I'll do it. I've done deals that take 3-4 hours.
Right on. Didn't you run for like a government position there at one point?
Yes, technically I'm still on the ballot. That's an interesting story. I got swindled by a modern. It's like an Inventing Anna, but with politics. And I have been trying to get a news outlet to pick up on this. This kid's a scam artist. He talked me into running and turned out he was totally full of shit. It was just a big grift that went on for like 2 months. And so I got rid of him after 2 months. And then he's gone on now to several other campaigns across the United States. And apparently, from what I hear, is misappropriated upwards of 100K. And now he's back. He's a Canadian national. Now he's back in Canada, running for office in Canada, in Ottawa, for the city council, which, I haven't decided if I want to fuck with that or not. On the one hand, I'm busy. On the other hand, I'm still a little pissed at this kid.
Wow, that is dirty.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. That was an experience. I'm glad I pulled out of that when I did, because I do, I do a lot of business with people that don't agree with the left, and I was on a left ballot, and I don't want to get into politics with my business. It's alienating to the people that prop me up and support me. So I'm glad I got out when I did.
Well, we're so politically driven right now because of the environment we're in. But I mean, back to the old sayings is like when you're around the dinner table, you don't talk about politics, you don't talk about religion. And a lot of people don't like to deal with that stuff right now. They're just bombarded by it. So it's probably a good idea to stay away.
The biggest thing too is you're like, I'm not going to convince you and you're not going to convince me. You've made up your mind. I've made up my mind. So let's not keep arguing about it. Let's figure out a way to make it work.
Right. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. This is what I want to do now, real quick, if I can. Let me see if this will work. I'm going to put my camera on my table, and I got some stuff that I'm going to bring into the pawn shop right now, which is not a pawn shop, as you said. I have some stuff, right? Maybe this stuff comes into your shop like this, just some junk. Maybe it's not junk. I don't know. At a quick glance,
$2,000.
Quick glance, was there stuff you just would not touch?
When was that gun made?
In the 70s.
Okay, so I can't buy the gun. Okay, so with everything in front of me, assuming I had a federal firearm license, what kind of a watch is that?
This is a coin watch, actually. So if you check it out, it actually has a walking Liberty $50 right there.
Okay, pull it back. Let me see what else we got. So with the gun, yeah. So I mean, let's pretend I did guns. I'd give you $2,000 probably for that pile at a glance.
Pretty cool. So everything, and that's kind of like, you have to like be careful, right? Because you offer me what you offer me, but then you got to make money on it. You got to resell it. You got things you got to pay for. So that's the kind of the business you're in.
Right. That's a half ounce, isn't it? The gold.
This actually is a 90% pre-30
guns. Okay.
Guns double eagle. Are we raising our price right now?
No, actually, I think I'd hold.
You're gonna hold there.
Oh, actually, fuck, it's an MS-66. It's 27 too.
You gotta see it close. I'm sorry. I'm kind of putting you on the spot here. 66.
Yeah, so I hate it when people bring me those because number one, they're not good sellers. Number two, it's always older people that want top dollar. Number three, when I sell it, I have to pay sales tax on it because I'm in Minnesota and it's numismatic, and the sales tax would usually negate most of my profits. And they can get really expensive too. I forget if 27 is a key date or not.
It's not.
Oh, it's not? Okay. Yeah, I'd
it's
hold
a common date. It's kind of an uncommon or a little bit better of a grade.
Okay, I'd call it 2,100.
A little bit more?
2,100, including the gun.
Oh, you want the gun too? I thought you can't do that.
Well, in theory, let's just say I'm buying everything. Yeah, I'd be at 2,100. What do you think?
I wouldn't sell for that price. First of all, because I'm in love with all this stuff.
Right.
but
I have no idea what a Megalodon tooth is worth. I've never bought one.
This was a $2,000 tooth, Evan.
Was it really?
Yeah, very expensive. Because when they get over 6 inches, and this is over 6 inches, the price just goes crazy on these.
Okay, I'll
and
show you what I know.
Point or something like that. But yeah, these are pricey.
What's the gun, about 300?
Actually, the gun you can probably get for $100.
Okay.
Yeah, that's no problem.
I'm not about guns, so I don't know.
Well, it's kind of a reproduction of an old style gun. So, most of the other stuff is not that much money. Actually, these are probably the two big money items on the table. And I would say that I probably paid $2,600 for the St. Gaudens, and then a little bit over $2,000 for the shark's tooth. Everything else is, I think I paid 50 for this, I don't know, 20, 30 for this. You know what I mean? Like a little bit here and there. We did it. We just did a pawn deal.
There you go. Yeah. I still like my price at 2,000.
Well, listen,
I've never had anyone bring me any fossil or anything yet. I would buy it if it was presented to me at the right price.
Yeah. It's an interesting dynamic, I think, because, I need money. I'm coming into the pawn shop. I need money from you. You don't need the money, but you need the inventory, right? I mean, but you have plenty of inventory. So it's like, do I really have to buy this? You want it, but it's not a need for you.
The way that I'm running, I'm more of I'd rather have the cash than the inventory. The reason being, I'm kind of a little engine that could here. I started this business on like 80K, and I wasn't even planning on starting it. It's just the guy that I was working for. This got big, and he wanted me to shut it down. And I was like, "Are you out of your fucking mind?" So we had a big falling out, and I went off on my own. And I didn't have the money to get this thing set up. I had to borrow money from my followers. So even still, it's going a lot better. I've been in business for over a year. The store is growing. I have more assets now than I have debt. So this business is profitable, but it still can get kind of tough sometimes. So when I get expensive collectible stuff walking in, like a tooth like that, I'd offer, if you tell me you paid two, it's like, oh, give me 900, I guess, because I don't want to sit on it for more than a month. I don't, it really hurts my business when I have something expensive that just eats up cash and sits in my back room for 4, 5, 6 months.
Well, how many people have come into your shop and said, "Hey, I'm really looking for a megalodon tooth right now"?
Not a single person has even asked me digitally for a fossil of any kind. So,
you know what? Hold on a minute. I'm going to call you out for a second. I'm going to call you out right now, Pawn Man.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you remember this, but when you just first, I think you were just kind of starting on Instagram. I went and watched one of your lives and I was trolling you a little bit. That's one of my favorite things to do, troll people and see how they react. You reacted super well. You handled it like a champ, a pro, I'll say, definitely. But you had
this, but cool.
You had a fossilized brittle star, which is like a sea star, an old sea star fossil. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was when I worked for the old man.
Oh, okay.
He had fossils.
Okay.
Yeah. I've never had one come in on my own anyway.
Okay.
I don't think anybody even came into the store that I was at with fossils for sale, but yeah, no, he had a lot of fossils. He had a lot of gemstones too, and he still has them. He can't sell them because he's not on the internet anymore.
I'm sure you don't remember that. I was asking, I don't know, every so many minutes on that live that how much is that fossil? How much is that fossil?
Yeah, I don't think I do. The one thing I do remember is I had no idea who General Lawn Man was, and he came on one of my somethings, and I didn't know. And so he was like, I think he was just like trying to like pull my tail, but I bit his head off, and I just like lit into him about like that was just very rude. And then there was suddenly this big thing on the silver community online about Pawn Man versus Lawn Man. I was like, what the fuck did I do?
Yeah, he likes to troll too. Nobody really knows who he is, to be honest with you. I actually have one of the pieces right here that he and MK Bars created together.
Isn't he Canadian?
I think he is Canadian. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that he flies an American flag and is very into American politics and is Canadian.
Well, he knows that.
So is the kid who convinced me to run for office. So I guess those Canadians just love American politics.
What's the plans coming up for your shop, social media, whatever the case may be? What's on the horizon here?
My biggest thing is I want to make it so that I'm not doing a million things at once because it's mentally not sustainable for me, actually, to be real. I took a vacation for the first time in a year in April, and I have taken 2 vacations since. I'm going on vacation again in 2 weeks. I'm going to Portland. I'm meeting up with a local coin company. I don't know if you know him. But I am mentally burning out because it is so hard for me to keep doing what I'm doing with this work schedule, 80 hours a week, where I'm constantly putting out content and running my store and doing everything. I have 2 people who work for me, but I can't afford more help. One person's part-time. I'm burning out my other guys something fierce because I'm just dumping so much stuff on them. So my goal is to have social media be a major source of revenue for my business. So I'm getting YouTube, TikTok. I want that to keep growing. Ultimately, I want to get a TV deal because, like I said, what I learned from the Pawn Star shop is it is the information that is the gold mine in this business these days. It's not the actual commodity itself. So just keep building, keep hoping that I get some kind of a deal, some kind of real financial backing with social media currency. That is my long-term goal. Short-term goal is to just stay alive, keep at it, keep building my inventory up in my store, keep adding to my coffers, and just keep having fun. At least I love what I do. I never have days where it's like, I don't want to go to work. But I do have days where it's like, I don't want to fucking film anything. I just want to sit and sell stuff and relax and not go live and entertain 300 people for 2 hours. So
right. I want you to
really taxing. People think social media is easy. It's like, no, it's really hard. It's getting big is hard, and maintaining it and staying fresh and original and continuing to pump out content is even harder.
Yeah, because you want to be original as much as possible. And I see a lot of people that go, oh, I can, do what Spegtacular does and show off coins and, my silver bars and everything. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work editing the videos and putting the videos up and maintaining the comments and all the other stuff that comes with it. It's not just, all money coming in.
I don't even do my own editing. Thank God I have Patreons. So I pay I film and I dump all the footage on an editor and he does it. Because if I had to do my editing too, there's no way I could have kept doing YouTube because my Pawn Man videos were taking, when I was editing them, and I think it was like episode 17, I got an editor. but it was a full 48-hour project to film an episode between filming and editing at least. And I was doing it every week. So, now that I'm so busy and just like, I couldn't edit my own videos myself too. I just couldn't do it. So thank God I have support from the people I do.
Right on. All right. You open up for the day, all day long. What's the most common thing that's coming into your shop for that day?
It really does vary, either scrap gold or silver or bullion gold or silver. It's about 50-50. This week has been very slow just because of the holiday. I'm seeing a lot of hesitancy just because of where the markets are. I myself, I had a lot of scrap in my basement. I just liquidated all of it today because I don't know where these markets are going or where they're going to bottom out at, but I don't want to be caught with my pants down in it. And I do think this is the time to buy. I can't believe how cheap it is. And when it breaks loose and rises, you will never see it come down to this price again. But until it does, we are in for some rough waters here. So like I said, it's just, I'm not getting as many people selling as I would like. And buying makes me a little nervous, especially when they want above spot, just with how much the markets are fluctuating. But I think coming up here, we're going to see some major fuckery going on in the economy. I think the stock market's going to completely tank. I think real estate's going to pop. And I think I'm going to see lines out my door in the coming year. People just selling everything to keep their asses. So God, I hope I'm wrong. Jesus.
Yeah, I hope you're wrong too, but I kind of see it the same way as you. Like, what do you do then? Like, okay, economy kind of tanks and stuff. You're trying to stay in business, but you're putting out more money than you're getting in. Like, how do you deal with that?
Well, that's been my problem from the get-go, is most days I'm spending more money than I'm taking in, just because that's the nature of the beast of what I do. And again, it speaks to the importance of social media and the fact that if I didn't have this audience, I would have gone belly up in 3 months. There is no way I could have made this work on what little amount of money I had, given the nature of this business. It's just because I have a huge audience, I'm able to turn merchandise. And by continuing to turn stuff, I got to stay here till 7, 8, 9 o'clock most nights, but it allows me to keep the cash flow going. It allows this business to keep working, even though just given the amount of money I spend and how little I'm operating on, even still a year in, it shouldn't have worked. Just the other day, I spent like $14,000, and that's a good chunk of my operating budget. I've already flipped all that stuff. You should see my desk right now. It's covered in coins and currency, and I just went live before doing this thing with you. And yeah, I moved $8,000 worth of product in my live.
Are you able to move that camera and show us, or you can't move it?
It's my computer camera, but yeah, it's a whole mess of North Korean currency, and got a bunch of coins and a bunch of gold and some other stuff. Most of it got cleaned up. I made my employee do all that.
What are you doing with all the stickers behind you?
Oh, this stuff here?
Yeah.
This is my leaderboard. I kind of wanted to create this community thing where as I sit and do my monologues on YouTube, because if you guys have not seen my YouTube show, it's like Pawn Stars meets Antiques Roadshow with some educational content mixed in. I guess I don't really know. Every episode has a theme, or has an episode title of like what it is that we're going to be covering for what I call the informative segment. So I will sit right here at the end of the episode. The last half of the video is me giving a monologue about something. Last week we covered metals and tokens of the Third Reich. Next week we're covering famous coin scams. So that's my show. I do that every other week because it is really labor intensive. I film myself doing deals. I do like little mini inserts, all kinds of stuff. I'll bring a camera with me as I go like running around errand, go meet other dealers, stuff like that. And then on the off weeks, I do Between the Pawn, which is a half-assed version of that with no informative segment, no monologue. I just sit here and I answer viewer questions. So like this is my community board behind me. It's people I do business with. It's people in the community. There's some local businesses I support that are on here, but then there's also some stuff like that's personal to me. I'm a big fan of anime, so I got some Gundam stuff. This is Zeon, Majin Buu, Dragon Ball Z. I got more Dragon Ball Z stuff here, some podcasts I listen to. For the most part, it is people that I do business with. It's just like kind of like a fun personal thing behind me.
I don't think I really mentioned this or asked you permission, but is it okay if I put like your YouTube channel and kind of like whatever?
Oh, please do. Why do you think I'm here?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Just make sure. One of my favorite things that about like your YouTube channel is when you're doing your videos, you're very real, okay? And you keep it real when you're doing your pricing and stuff. People might not agree. People might not agree that all the stuff on my table right here was, $2,100 or what you said you would pay for it. They might be like, oh man, that's what's lowballing. But you're real about your prices. You're not going to shy away from telling people what you were going to pay for this. And I like that.
There's people, I have some trolls, man. I got some fucking trolls. There are people that think that I am the worst evil on the internet, including ISIS and all the other terrible things. They think like me, and they come after me, and they really don't like me. I get anonymously reported to the state of Minnesota all the fucking time for shit that I didn't do because of these trolls. There's people that really hate what I do. And what pisses them off so much, it seems like, is the fact that I'm running a business and making money. And it's like, do you know how capitalism works? Like, of course I'm going to buy low and sell high. Frankly, I compare my prices with my competition around town. I pay better than they do. And if you don't hate the player, hate the game. You know, this business requires you to buy low. My operating expenses are enormous. I mean, with the amount of shit that I buy, paying my employees, I got 2 people who work for me, and I'm paying them a lot because they need it. And, inflation's running away. I got to pay myself. I got a lot. Like, this shit was not cheap. None of this is cheap. So I need profits. It's not like I'm getting rich fast here. It's still hard for me to save despite all my success, just because all my money goes straight back into this business. So yeah, I mean, let people hate, but they just don't understand the reality. It's like, if you walked in my shoes, you'd see why I do what I do. Keep watching my show and maybe you'll understand.
There's a lot of operating costs that people don't understand. They think that when gold comes in, you have to give them over spot. But I mean, you still got to sell that stuff. And how are you going to sell it for, that much over spot and still, keep your lights on? I mean, there's a lot more.
And it's like, holy shit. Okay, an ounce of gold, let's say it's $2,000, or that's what the sold price is. And I bought it for $1,900. That's a 5% margin, and it costs $2,000 to do. And I may not turn it for 2 weeks. So no, it's really hard. I borderline don't want to buy gold right now, because again, the price right now, it just keeps going down. And I keep getting these people that are offloading 5-10 ounces at a time. And it's like, fuck, I gotta turn this, because I don't know where the market's gonna be. And I'm not even making that much money anyway.
People don't get it, man.
Yeah, they really don't.
What's the biggest loss that you've taken on an item that's come in?
I had a fake. Okay, so lemons to lemonade, and that's the joy of what I do with the social media. Every time something goes awry, I make a video about it, and then I pick up more followers, which turns into more customers, which turns into more money. Case in point, one of my biggest losses I've had, it might be my biggest, minus stuff getting stolen. Somebody came in last year and they passed a fake 14 karat gold chain that I paid $1,000 for. And I found out it was fake 2 weeks later. So yeah, I lost $1,000. I mean, it was gold filled. I think I got $100 on it. I lost 900, but I made a TikTok video about it. And that TikTok video got 2 million hits. I got a lot of followers out of that. A lot of those people became customers. I made a lot more than $1,000 off of that video. If you add up all the amount of money I made from all the new followers I got. So it's like a hydra, you cut off one head, but I could figure out a way to spring out 2.
I like that. Now with that necklace, how'd you mess up on that? Can I ask that?
Yeah, I am file into it. That was my learning mistake, or that was my costly learning mistake, I should say. I did a rub test on it, and I thought, it's probably fine. And if I had simply filed into it further, I would have seen that it was plated.
So you took a stone and you rubbed it across the stone, and it showed that there was gold in there, but that was just the plating that came off.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, if I'd taken a file to it, gone way into it, yeah, I would have. And that was where I learned to do that. And that since has saved me a lot of money. In fact, just the other week, and I filmed it for my most recent YouTube video. Some guy came in here with an 18 karat men's chain. Now, by my experience, most men's chains that are 18 karat are fake. So I didn't like it off the get-go. And I rubbed it on the stone. It was okay. And I started filing into it. And the guy perked up. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm just checking it out." And yeah, so I filed and threw some acid on it. And sure enough, it was fake. And the guy got really pissed. And he's like, "Well, it feels real." "Oh, you knew that was fake. Yeah, I bet you got a trunk full of these things. You're going store to store."
Absolutely. Yeah, that's part of the game, I think, with the scam artists. They know what they got, and they're going to come in the store, and if it doesn't work out there, they're going to go to the next store.
1,000 a week tax free. You go down to Mexico, you get a bunch of those gold plated fake, they're stamped, but they're not real. You bring them back, and you do that once a week. There's $50K a year tax free.
Yeah, it's crazy. A lot of people don't know this, but when I ask my questions, I go ahead and read it off of a paper right here. Can you see all the questions I have that I'm going to ask you?
I mean, I see paper. I don't see what's on it. Seems to be
It's just blank. I just kind of make up the questions as I go. On the reverse of that question, what's the best moneymaker you've made on an item?
So about 5 months ago, and I filmed this for my YouTube show. I was alone. It was below zero outside. It was kind of a slow day. This beat up pickup truck shows up, and these like carnival looking people get out, and they're hauling a bunch of shit in here. And it's like a family of like five, and they have, oh my God, they have so much crap that is just crap. And they stink of cigarettes, and they're burping and they're farting, and their want for conversation is disgusting. And they're just like making a mess. Like they basically just track like a giant puddle in here. It's like they just like trash my place, and like they had like a bunch of like cans of Mountain Dew and like energy drinks they just leave everywhere, and like part of a cigarette I found later. So I'm dealing with these people, and I'm like, oh my God, you guys are so haggard. And they have these toy die-cast collectible fire trucks that are new in the box. They're like 1/64th scale. And the guy says, yeah, my dad just died. He was a firefighter, and he left me all these. The guy had like 25 boxes of them. They're pretty big. And he says, they go for $400 online. And this is something I hear. It goes for this online. It goes for that online. Okay, sell it yourself. He says, well, I just brought it to the pawn shop, and they offer me $10. Now, when somebody says the pawn shop price, that does give me a good idea of my base level ripoff price to start at. So I'm looking at these things, and I go, okay, well, pawn shop offered you 10. How's 16 a box? And he lights up. He goes, really? I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. And so he's so happy. I paid him for all the boxes. And then he had this like replica of a firehouse from Los Angeles. It was like a 1/100th scale, but it was like handmade. I gave me 25 or whatever for that one. So it was like a $500 deal. And they leave so giddy. I think, oh, I just got burned. Like, there's no way I'm going to sell this shit. And I start going through it, and I look it up. Oh no, he wasn't lying. They were going for $400 a box. I don't know why the fuck this guy didn't sell this shit himself, but I spent the rest of the day listing these. And by morning the next day, I had sold half of them. I made like $5,000 on this deal, like that. I sold the replica firehouse for $500, and I could not believe it. So that is a deal that sticks out to me as like one of the best deals I ever did, where I was begrudging about it. I didn't want to do it, and then I did it, and then holy shit, am I glad I did. That was a lot of money.
Right on. That's pretty cool. Cool.
I also had a remote deal. I did, you can mail me stuff and I'll buy it. You just got to have an ID and be over 18. And I was going through this box last year. There was this, it was like an old cup, and it looked like really shitty. It was stamped like on the bottom. And I was like, what is this? Because I was going to pay a metal price. And he got kind of pissed. He's like, it's from the 1700s. And I was like, oh, well, whatever. It's a sterling cup. You like can't even drink out of it. So I paid him 4 times melt. And I was kind of pissed about that. Well, it turns out I bought a museum piece, and I didn't realize it. And I got $1,000 on that shit like 2 days later. So,
wow.
Yeah, I sometimes, it's like with the con artist. I buy stuff and I don't know what I bought. And then it turns out they didn't know what they had, and I didn't know what I was buying. But I'm the benefactor of a lot of money in those situations.
It's one of those things, too, where they walk away with the money. You have all the risk now from whatever they had. And maybe it's good. Maybe it's plated. You know what I mean? You're
on top of that, if I throw out a lowball offer and you say, okay, well, how is that my problem? You were advertising it for sale. You came in here, I threw out a price, and we agreed upon it, and you were happy. Do your research.
Right. Do you ever get these right here, this little speech where it's like, hey, this right here is from a shipwreck. I have the certificate of authenticity right now with it. You can see clearly that it, on paper, it says it came from a shipwreck. Will you buy this? You ever get that?
Yeah, and I actually show you something. Let me bring that up. Right here is an $800 mistake. I keep right here to remind me to not fuck around with shipwreck stuff unless it comes from PCGS or NGC. So yeah, this was sold to me, certified authenticity artifact recovered from the wreck of the El Casardo. All these fuckers are fake. Every single one of them.
No.
These don't mean shit unless it comes from a certified authority company like PCGS or NGC. And when I say people get really pissed, they're like, well, I have a treasure of history. Then sell it on eBay. Don't bring it to me. I don't want to buy it.
I recently saw a guy, and he had all the paperwork and stuff, and these are the coins, and I even asked him. I said, well, why don't you send them in to get graded? He's like, oh, I just don't have the time right now. Well, I don't have the time to buy it then.
Yeah, exactly.
I just can't find the justification to get that stuff that may or may not be real. Is there something that comes in to the pawn shop, or well, the not so pawn shop, as you're now saying? Is there something that comes in that's like you're excited? That's your favorite thing to buy, the easiest to flip and move?
Yeah, premium bullion, like limited edition art pours from people that don't know what they have and don't care and just want to get rid of it. Because you're not gonna buy it at spot or like even a little bit under spot. And like premium pours go for a lot. They go for a lot.
Like hand poured stuff. So like
Yeah, or like limited stuff. So this is kind of bad. Maybe about a month ago, it was the day of the shooting in the supermarket in Buffalo. I bought that morning a 4chan 1 ounce silver round. And I paid $100 for it. Guy wanted 100. And I was like, you want $100 for an ounce of silver? He goes, yeah, it's a 4chan round. Look them up. And I looked it up and they're going for 2. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'll give it. Okay, fine. I'll give you 100, mainly because I like all things taboo. And I am for sure going to make a video about this. And then the shooting happened later that day. And that whack job got radicalized on 4chan. And now they're 500 each. And now I don't want to make a video because it's just kind of it's little untasteful taboo, in my opinion, to at least for now still, because that shooting was very recent. But something like that will happen. It seems to happen every couple of months where somebody will bring me something, and then it just so happens the value on it for whatever reason goes up, like right after I bought it.
It's pretty interesting. I would have never guessed that was the item that you would have said was the best for you.
Like I said, art pours in general, not 4chan silver.
Right. I would have thought just, scrap gold or something like that. That seems like
well, that's too, especially when you use the magic words, and those are, I don't know what I have and I don't care what I get. It's like, okay, bend over. There's no lube.
Oh, do you have any questions?
Contact if you're lucky.
Oh, geez. That's just, what is that? That's just ginger ale, right? Perfect.
Yep. It is Japanese ginger ale.
Any questions for me, Pawn Man?
Yeah. So how does having a large YouTube audience affect what you do? How's the revenue? Tell me about it, because I'm envious of your audience size on YouTube. It is so hard to get people to jump from TikTok to YouTube.
So, I would never say that I'm a large. I'm almost at 50,000. I know that people that have, a few thousand are like, wow, 50,000 is huge. But I view the people that have 1 million. Those are the big ones to me, But I will say that you notice a significant, it's just harder and harder as you start to get more subscribers. Not that they make it harder, but like you're trying more and more. You want to be original. You want to like make sure people that see things that they've never seen before. And I got to go to more shops now. I got to keep the content coming. Mm-hmm. I got to do 2 to 3 videos a week just to keep people interested. It just it's a struggle. With the money that's coming in from that, that is not a big deal to me. I don't think it's enough to go like, wow, like I could just totally quit my job and make a living on this. I'd be scared to do that. Now the people that have 1 million plus, sure, they're probably quitting their jobs, but not for me. It's an extra.
I've heard 100,000's the magic number where it becomes sustainable. As a full-time career. I went to high school with a girl who has a mommy channel, and I want to say she has like 140,000 on YouTube, and it's her full-time job. She's busy. It seems like she's making a lot of money doing it too. I guess she gets sponsorship deals and stuff. And
the sponsorships are helpful. Now, you get paid on the views more than, the subs being a concern at all. The subs might help you get more money per view, as they see like, oh, this person has a lot of subs, they're more valuable. But the view is the important part, because I know people that have 500,000, 500,000 subs, but their videos are starting to decline. They're only getting a couple thousand views per video. So they're not, the revenue's not there. They can't, quit their day jobs.
Yeah. Well, luckily mine is finally starting to move, but just for the first like year and a half of doing Pawn Man. It's funny is it started on YouTube, and then I went to TikTok. Part of why I went to TikTok was I was doing the YouTube stuff in secrecy. I didn't tell the old man or his crazy girlfriend about it because I knew they're going to fight me on it. I knew it was a good idea. So I did a summer of putting out episodes, and then it started to take off, and I told them about it, and they got pissed. And I was like, well, tell you what, I'm going to go on TikTok too. I'll make a TikTok, and we'll start selling product on TikTok. Won't that make you happy? Within 2 months, I was doing more sales just off TikTok than their entire business was. and that made him more irate. But so like I said, though, it started on YouTube, and now it's on in the TikTok is what, you know, like I get recognized walking around. People say Pawn Man to me. And it's still on YouTube. I'm at 13,000, and like my videos, you know, I now get over 1,000 on the first day of a video coming out. That was a big milestone for me. That's pretty recent. But as far as like TikTok goes, that just keeps growing. It's very funny to me how it seems easy to grow on TikTok. And if you know what you're doing and you get clever, like, you know, I sell product on TikTok, then you can make a lot of money on it. But as far as revenue goes from views on TikTok, you don't get paid shit. It is amazing how little they pay you. I make like $1 a day on TikTok with my 215,000 followers.
But it's a good advertising thing to get onto other
But
things.
I sell bad product, man. Like I said, I went live. I sold 8,000 worth of product in like an hour and a half. You know, that's where the value is with TikTok.
Well, I guarantee that, you know, at some point, probably in the near future, you'll exceed what I have here on YouTube based on your drive, your charisma and stuff. And the fact that you show your face and you're a real person and stuff, you know, you give people the real information. One of those things I'll say on some of those pawn shows, I'm not going to name names, but I know for a fact that some of that stuff is completely fake, because I actually had a guy that came to me and said, hey, they paid me $100 to go on there and make a stink about one of the items I brought in. And they gave me $100. And I said, there's no way. And he said, watch this episode and you'll see my face. Watch that episode, saw the face, saw the fake little argument. And I was like, holy smokes, they're not even real.
You know, that's the problem with a network television. My end goal, you asked this earlier, I think I mentioned this. My end goal is to get something like a TV deal. I would like to be on network television, but if they wanted to script it, I would have a problem with that, because there's no need to script something like this. This is interesting on its own. Why you have to script something that is naturally so interesting, especially like, I don't know if you've read Rick Harrison's book, but he's got some stories in there. They're better than what's on TV. It's just, I think History Channel wanted to create a narrative that was a little more family friendly and just they could sell, that had the intrigue, but not the intrigue of the reality of the intrigue, where I get somebody strung out on drugs and I got to insinuate I'm going to shoot him if he doesn't get out. That hasn't happened yet, but what I'm doing here is a true, genuine reality show. What I do script is at least the monologues. You know, I'm trying to get a teleprompter. I do read off a script that I have written. I ad lib parts, but as far as my interactions with people go, that's real. And part of what I knew was going to be, part of how I knew it was going to take off, was I would get into these interactions with people in the year leading up to making Pawn Man, working for this old guy, that were just wild. And I would go home and I kept the diary. I'd go home and write about it in my diary. And then I'd tell my friends about it. And they'd be like, what happened to you? Good Lord. I was just bitched out at work for not doing a performance thing. You had like a meth head trying to sell you part of their teeth. So yeah, there's no need to script this business. It is such an interesting business. And I stole the line from Pawn Stars, but it's true. You never know what's going to walk through the door. It's always entertaining.
Your YouTube channel is very entertaining. I think that you need to be getting more views than you are right now, just because it's a really good show. And like you said, it's real. Real quick on the teeth. Has anybody tried to sell you their gold teeth?
Oh yeah. I love buying gold teeth, mainly because I can act like I'm grossed out about it, and I'll pay them like it's 12 karat and it's usually 16 karat. And I can always make great content out of smashing up teeth. The first thing of gold that I ever bought in this industry, it was gold teeth. It was my first day with the old man. This good looking young girl comes in. I'm like, kind of like, ooh, honey, you in the wrong place. What are you doing here? So I want to sell this and this and this. And we're weighing it up and measuring it. And I'm like kind of watching the old man, because I don't understand what's going on, or like how he's figuring out these prices. And she says, and do you buy teeth? And I looked at him. I looked at the old man like, fuck's she talking about? He goes, well, yes, we do. So she reaches into her purse, this cute little thing, and she pulls out this nasty tooth. It looks like she went grave robbing. I swear to God, it still had fucking soil on it. And I'm like, and so he takes it, he goes, follow me. And I go on back with him, and he just drops on the pavement, takes a hammer, he hammers it out. And he walks back, drops it on a scale, pays her $80, and turns to me, he says, this melts at 230. Wow, I am definitely onto something now. I just know it in my bones. I thought that right there that day when he did that. And sure enough.
And then what you did is you went to Home Depot, got a shovel, and went to the first cemetery.
Oh, Pawn Man hasn't been arrested for grave robbing yet, but keep watching those headlines. I could see that coming.
Wow. Well, listen, I'm really, really happy that you did this with me. I know we've been trying to get this interview going for a little while, and you're busy, I'm busy, but we're able to connect right now on the wonderful internet that we have. You're able to, provide a lot of information and actually fun with social media, and the internet has brought us together. States away, we're able to connect. I'm very thankful that you came on here, though, and I think people are gonna.
I appreciate you having me, and I just gotta say, I love this online community. All of us dealers, we talk to each other, we work together, we're all making each other money. It's a tight knit community, and you don't see that with a lot of other stuff. I've met so many tremendous characters in this industry, people who, before getting into this, maybe I wouldn't have said hi to them on the street, or maybe I would have thought something about them. But now that it's great to meet these people and have these interactions. It's such a tremendous community. And you don't get that with a lot of other stuff, especially when it comes to like investing and buying things like, to increase your net worth.
Yeah. You ever think about like maybe coming to one of the big shows, like coin shows or something like that, just to show your face a little bit and show your shirt?
It's on my list of things to do for sure. I've actually never been to a coin show. Part of it is just, I'm just so busy, and it like kind of doesn't make sense for me to uproot myself on my day off and go to like a coin, but like it's on my list of things to do because I can make great content out of it, and networking is important.
Listen, this is what I want to see. We have a show in Florida called the Fun Show, right? It's huge. Next winter, they're going to have a large one. It'd be so cool for you to have a table and show like some Pond Man just merchandise right there.
You said the right words. You said winter and Florida. Let me know about 2 months before it happens. I'll try and make it out there. That sounds like fun. I'm trying to travel a lot. I don't get out enough, and I'm kind of sick of Minnesota and kind of over this shit, even though it's summer right now. So I just love traveling and going to other places.
Yeah, don't
move to Minnesota, everyone. It's not terribly great here.
Why not?
It's cold. The people suck. It's boring. I have fun everywhere I go, but here.
Yeah. Well, they're miserable because it's so cold.
Yeah, that.
Come to sunny Florida, but not right now when it's hot. It's miserable out here too. Anyways, Pond Man, I greatly appreciate you doing this. Again, for everybody that's watching, I'm going to have information for Pond Man down in the description of the video. So you can just click on some stuff and then go to his social media sites, YouTube, and check him out. Anything before we go, Pond Man?
Nope. Just check me out. Subscribe. I got new videos posting every Thursday. Buy bullion from me, buy bullion from this guy. And thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Really appreciate it. Evan Kale, Pond Man. Hopefully we can do something again sometime. If you got something crazy going on, you got some stuff you want to show off, I'd love to have you on. That'd be great.
We should have like some kind of like a video roundtable with like all the big content creators that are in this space. I think that'd be a lot of fun. And then there's going to be a lot of drama for the people we don't invite.
That would be really, really cool. Actually, that's a great idea. Let's set that up.
Yeah, I'm into it. Sweet.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Enjoy the 4th. Thank you again for having me. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.